What would you do if someone really wronged you? Would you let it go or would you seek revenge? The urge for payback is primal, but what happens when it spirals out of control? Today we're diving into true stories where revenge didn't just get even, it got ugly. These tales show just how far people will go when they feel betrayed. Let's get into it. In the glittering heart of the city, nestled amongst towering skyscrapers and bustling streets, stood a high-end restaurant. Le Gastronomie Magnifique, it was called, a beacon of culinary excellence and sophisticated dining. Its reputation preceded it, whispered in hushed tones among food critics and discerning patrons alike. Chef Julien was the creative force behind its success. He was the artist, the maestro, the culinary visionary who transformed ordinary ingredients into edible masterpieces. Each dish was a testament to his passion, his skill, and his unwavering dedication to the art of gastronomy. He poured his heart and soul into every creation, meticulously crafting flavors and textures that danced on the palate and left diners craving more. After years of unwavering loyalty, years of tireless effort, and years of contributing to the restaurant's soaring success, he was suddenly and unceremoniously fired by the owner, Mr. Sterling, a man whose ambition outweighed his appreciation. The termination was swift, cold, and utterly devoid of gratitude. Mr. Sterling, driven by greed and a thirst for greater profit margins, replaced him with a cheaper, less experienced chef, someone willing to compromise on quality for the sake of the bottom line. But the betrayal didn't stop there. Sterling actively sabotaged Julien's reputation, spreading malicious rumors and casting aspersions on his talent and integrity. With his career in ruins, his name dragged through the mud and his passion extinguished, Julien found himself adrift in a sea of despair. The culinary world, once his oyster, now seemed a hostile and unforgiving place. But beneath the surface of his despair, a seed of resentment began to sprout, slowly but surely transforming into a burning desire for revenge. Julien plotted a slow, devastating revenge, a calculated campaign to dismantle everything Mr. Sterling held dear. He started subtly, insidiously, by spreading rumors about the restaurant's hygiene, hinting at unsanitary practices and questionable food handling. Then, he anonymously tipped off a notoriously strict health inspector, knowing that even the slightest infraction could trigger a devastating inspection. He didn't stop there. Julien also planted seeds of doubt in the minds of potential customers by posting fake online reviews, painting a picture of mediocre food and subpar service. Then, with meticulous precision, he exposed the owner's cost-cutting measures, revealing his switch to low-quality suppliers and inferior ingredients. The revelation ignited a firestorm of controversy, leading to a full-blown public scandal that engulfed the restaurant and threatened to consume everything in its path. The restaurant's once stellar reputation, painstakingly built over years of hard work and dedication, collapsed overnight, crumbling under the weight of scandal and public outrage. Bookings dried up faster than a spilled glass of water in the desert sun, leaving the reservation book eerily empty. The regulars, once loyal and enthusiastic patrons, vanished without a trace, seeking refuge in other, more reputable establishments. And inevitably, the business was forced to close its doors within 6 short months, a victim of its own greed and Julien's carefully orchestrated revenge. A for lease sign hung forlornly in the window, a stark reminder of the restaurant's demise. Mr. Sterling, stripped of his wealth, his reputation and his pride, lost everything he had worked so hard to achieve. Julien watched it all unfold from a distance, a ghost haunting the ruins of his former life, but the victory, though sweet, was ultimately hollow. He'd destroyed the place he once loved, the place where he had poured his heart and soul, and his own reputation was still in tatters, forever stained by the bitterness of revenge. In the end, his revenge, though meticulously planned and flawlessly executed, left both men with nothing but regret and the bitter taste of ashes in their mouths. Sometimes, when you burn it all down in the name of vengeance, you're not just destroying your enemy, you're also destroying yourself, and you're left standing alone in the ashes of what once was. The restaurant was gone, a vacant shell haunted by memories, and so was a piece of Julien, lost forever in the flames of his own making. Revenge can consume more than just your enemy, it can consume you, leaving you hollow and empty. Was it worth it? The question echoed in Julien's mind, a constant reminder of the price he had paid. In the seemingly tranquil embrace of suburbia, where manicured lawns meet white picket fences, and the air is filled with the gentle hum of lawnmowers and the distant laughter of children, lies a hidden potential for conflict. Beneath the veneer of neighborly harmony, simmering tensions can sometimes erupt, transforming ordinary disagreements into extraordinary feuds. This is the story of Carol and Bob, two neighbors whose relationship devolved into a bitter and absurd battle, all stemming from the innocent-looking oak tree that stood majestically between their properties. The saga began innocently enough with the annual shedding of leaves. Carol, meticulous about her pristine lawn, politely asked Bob if he would consider trimming the branches that hung over her property, contributing to the autumnal deluge of leaves. She hoped for a simple solution, a gesture of neighborly consideration. But Bob, a man of unwavering principle and perhaps a touch of stubbornness, flatly refused. He saw no reason to alter the natural beauty of the tree, regardless of the minor inconvenience it caused his neighbor. And so, the stage was set for a neighborhood war. What began as a minor disagreement quickly escalated into a series of increasingly petty and vindictive acts of revenge. Carol, fueled by frustration, retaliated by gathering the fallen leaves and dumping them in large bags on Bob's porch, a passive-aggressive message delivered in the form of organic waste. Bob, not one to be outdone, responded by adjusting his sprinklers to relentlessly soak Carol's windows, a watery assault designed to disrupt her peace and quiet. Carol, escalating the conflict further, retaliated by blasting loud music at all hours of the day and night, turning Bob's home into an unwilling concert venue. Bob, in a move that truly tested the limits of neighborly tolerance, retaliated by creating a massive, foul-smelling compost pile right on the property line, ensuring that the prevailing winds carried its pungent aroma directly into Carol's home. The pranks grew nastier, more elaborate, and increasingly personal, each act of revenge designed to inflict maximum discomfort and annoyance on the other. Manure was anonymously dumped on driveways in the dead of night, a smelly surprise awaiting the unsuspecting homeowner. Lawns, once symbols of suburban pride, were systematically destroyed with herbicide, leaving behind unsightly brown patches as a testament to the escalating animosity. The entire neighborhood watched in a mixture of amusement and horror as the feud between Carol and Bob spiraled further and further out of control. It was a spectacle of suburban dysfunction, a cautionary tale of how easily neighborly disagreements can transform into all-out war. The conflict reached its absurd climax with the mysterious disappearance and reappearance of garden gnomes, arranged in increasingly bizarre and unsettling poses. Lawn ornaments, once cherished symbols of suburban kitsch, were smashed to pieces in acts of wanton destruction. Ultimately, the feud culminated in the arrival of flashing police lights, the screech of tires, and the ignominious arrest of both Carol and Bob for vandalism and harassment. The authorities stepped in, bringing an end to the madness, but not before significant damage had been done. Restraining orders were issued, hefty fines were levied, and the two former neighbors were forced to maintain a legally mandated distance from one another. What started as a petty dispute over a few fallen leaves had spiraled into a full-blown legal battle, leaving both parties significantly worse off. Both Carol and Bob were left exhausted, both emotionally and financially, by the ordeal. They were humiliated by the public nature of their feud and the embarrassment it had brought upon themselves and their families. And perhaps most significantly, they were burdened with criminal records, a permanent reminder of their lapse in judgment. The fleeting satisfaction of revenge was quickly replaced by a gnawing sense of regret, a realization that their actions had far-reaching and devastating consequences. Sometimes, the only thing you truly win in a feud is a mess of emotions, a mess of relationships, and sometimes, a literal mess of manure and broken lawn ornaments. In the end, both Carol and Bob lost far more than they ever gained in their senseless battle. They lost their peace of mind, their sense of community, and a significant portion of their savings. Was it worth it? A question that surely echoed in their minds long after the dust had settled, a haunting reminder of the destructive power of petty grievances and the importance of finding common ground, even with the most challenging of neighbors. Sarah was a star at her marketing firm, working hard for a promotion she was sure she'd get. Instead, it went to Mark, a newcomer with connections, not merit. Feeling betrayed, Sarah decided to get even. She leaked confidential company info to a rival, costing her firm a major client. Then, she exposed the company's unethical practices to a popular industry blog. The scandal went viral. Stock prices crashed, clients fled, and layoffs followed. The office turned toxic, with paranoia and suspicion everywhere. Sarah watched the chaos, feeling a grim satisfaction, until she saw friends lose their jobs. The company was gutted, its reputation destroyed. Sarah quit, unable to face the wreckage she'd caused. Her revenge hurt the bosses, but it devastated everyone, including herself. Sometimes getting even means everyone loses. Was it worth it? After a brutal breakup, Alex found himself completely alone. The apartment, once filled with laughter and shared dreams, now echoed with the deafening silence of heartbreak. The future he had envisioned, the one painted with vibrant colors of love and companionship, had vanished in an instant, leaving behind a desolate landscape of shattered expectations. His girlfriend Chloe had left him for his best friend Ben. The betrayal cut deep, a double blow that left Alex reeling in disbelief and pain. He couldn't comprehend how the two people he trusted most could inflict such a devastating wound. The memories of their shared moments, once cherished, now felt like salt in an open sore. Heartbroken, Alex's grief turned to obsession and revenge. The initial shock gave way to a burning anger, a desire to retaliate and make them feel the same pain he was experiencing. Sleep became a luxury as his mind raced, consumed by thoughts of retribution. The line between victim and perpetrator began to blur as he plotted his elaborate scheme. He started with online harassment, unleashing a torrent of anonymous insults and accusations on social media. He created fake profiles, spreading rumors and attempting to tarnish their reputations. The digital world became his battleground, a place where he could inflict pain from the shadows, fueled by his insatiable need for revenge. But soon, escalated. The online attacks weren't enough to quench his thirst for vengeance. He needed to strike harder, to inflict real damage that would shatter their happiness and make them regret their actions. His obsession grew, consuming his every thought and driving him down a dangerous path. Using Chloe's personal info, which he had access to from their past together, he embarked on a dangerous game of identity theft. He meticulously gathered her details, exploiting the trust they once shared to fuel his vengeful plan. He saw it as a way to strike at her financial stability, to disrupt her life in a way that would leave a lasting impact. He opened credit cards in her name, without her knowledge or consent, setting in motion a chain of events that would have devastating consequences. He reveled in the power he felt, the ability to manipulate her life from behind the scenes, unaware of the long-term damage he was inflicting, maxed them out, and destroyed her credit. He went on a reckless spending spree, racking up exorbitant charges on the stolen credit cards, knowing that she would be the one left to face the consequences. He watched with a twisted satisfaction as her credit score plummeted, her financial future hanging precariously in the balance. He vandalized Ben's prized car, a vintage vehicle that Ben had painstakingly restored and cherished. Alex saw it as a symbol of Ben's success and happiness, and he wanted to destroy it, to shatter Ben's sense of pride and accomplishment. He slashed the tires, keyed the paint, and left a message of hate scrawled across the hood, and hacked into Ben's work email, gaining access to sensitive information that could jeopardize Ben's career. He meticulously searched for compromising data, determined to find something that he could use to destroy Ben's professional reputation, exposing confidential info and getting Ben fired. He leaked the confidential information to Ben's superiors, knowing that it would result in Ben's immediate termination. He watched with a cold detachment as Ben was escorted from the building, his career in ruins. Chloe was left drowning in debt, struggling to cope with the financial fallout of Alex's actions. Collection agencies hounded her relentlessly, demanding payment for the fraudulent charges. Her life was consumed by stress and anxiety as she desperately tried to salvage her credit and regain her financial footing. Ben lost his job, his professional life shattered by Alex's calculated sabotage. He struggled to find new employment, his reputation tarnished by the leaked information. He spiraled into depression, his confidence eroded and his future uncertain. And their new life together unraveled. The stress and strain of the financial and professional setbacks took a toll on their relationship. They argued constantly, their love and trust eroded by the weight of Alex's vengeful actions. The dream they had shared of a happy future together crumbled before their eyes. Alex thought he'd covered his tracks, meticulously erasing any evidence that could link him to the crimes. He felt a sense of satisfaction, believing that he had successfully exacted his revenge and gotten away with it. He basked in the illusion of control, convinced that he was smarter than everyone else, but bragged to a mutual friend who, disturbed by Alex's confession and the extent of his actions, went to the police. The friend, torn between loyalty and a sense of justice, realized that Alex's actions had gone too far and that he needed to be held accountable. The investigation uncovered everything, meticulously piecing together the evidence that linked Alex to the crimes. Detectives followed the digital trail, tracing the online harassment and the fraudulent credit card applications back to Alex's computer. Identity theft, the fraudulent use of Chloe's personal information to open credit cards and ruin her credit score. The evidence was irrefutable, painting a clear picture of Alex's calculated scheme. Fraud, vandalism. The police uncovered the evidence of the car vandalism, linking Alex to the scene through security footage and witness testimonies. The case against him was airtight. Alex was arrested and faced serious charges including identity theft, fraud, vandalism, and cyber harassment. The weight of his actions finally crashed down upon him as he was led away in handcuffs, his dreams of revenge turning into a nightmare of legal consequences. His revenge didn't just ruin their lives, it had a ripple effect, impacting their families, friends, and careers. The damage he inflicted was far-reaching and irreversible. It destroyed his own. He faced a lengthy prison sentence, his future prospects shattered by his criminal record. The life he had known was gone, replaced by the harsh reality of incarceration. He went from victim to villain, his actions transforming him into the very thing he despised. His mugshot became a symbol of his downfall, a permanent reminder of the choices he had made. With a criminal record that would follow him forever, his past would haunt him, limiting his opportunities and shaping his identity for years to come. He had traded his freedom for a fleeting moment of revenge, a decision he would forever regret. The urge to hurt those who hurt you can backfire in ways you never expect. Revenge is a dangerous game, one that often leads to unintended consequences and leaves everyone involved worse off than before. In the end, Alex lost everything. His freedom, his reputation, and his future. He was left with nothing but regret and the crushing weight of his actions. Was it worth it? The question echoed in his mind, a constant reminder of the devastating price he had paid for his revenge. Sometimes revenge is the worst closure of all, leaving you trapped in a cycle of anger and resentment, unable to move on and find true peace. It's a hollow victory that ultimately leaves you empty and alone. Brothers Liam and Owen were supposed to split their parents' inheritance equally. Liam, the executor, tried to do things by the book, but Owen's impatience and suspicion turned to rage. Accusations flew, trust shattered, and the family home became a battleground. One day, Owen, drunk and furious, attacked Liam with a wrench. In self-defense, Liam struck back with a skillet, leaving Owen with permanent brain damage. The police and courts got involved, the family was torn apart. Legal fees and medical bills devoured the inheritance. In the end, there was nothing left. No money, no family, just scars. Liam was acquitted, but the damage was irreversible. A fight over money destroyed 2 lives and a family legacy. Sometimes the cost of revenge is everything you once held dear. Was it worth it? When family turns against itself, everyone loses. Greed and vengeance can leave nothing but ruin. These stories show how revenge can spiral, leaving devastation in its wake. The satisfaction of payback rarely lasts. What's left is regret, loss, and broken lives. Is revenge ever worth the price? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more stories that make you question everything, subscribe to Unknown Facts. Until next time, stay curious, and think twice before getting even.